Imagine being able to maintain composure in the midst of a traffic jam, a challenging conversation with your supervisor, or even a personal crisis. This is the force of emotionlessness, an old way of thinking that has helped individuals for quite a long time to live more joyful and additional satisfying lives. Apathy instructs us that the main thing we can genuinely control is our own considerations and activities. All the other things, from the climate to the economy to the way of behaving of others, is beyond our reach. By embracing this situation, we can liberate ourselves from the nervousness and dissatisfaction that comes from attempting to control things that are beyond our arrive at. Emotionlessness likewise trains us to zero in on what we have some control over, which is our own personality and our activities. By endeavoring to carry on with a prudent life, we can make a feeling of inward harmony and satisfaction that isn't subject to outside conditions. In this video, we'll investigate 10 significant illustrations from aloofness that can assist you with accomplishing internal harmony and dominance over your feelings. Go along with us on this excursion of self-disclosure as we investigate the antiquated insight of apathy and figure out how to apply it to our advanced lives. Illustration number 1. Hug what you have some control over. Epicus, the indifferent age, offers us an essential example that fills in as the foundation of unemotional way of thinking. The polarity of control at the core of this instructing is the acknowledgement that our lives are dependent upon a principal division between components we have some control over and those past our impact. This idea is significant in developing a cool as a cucumber disposition even amidst life's vulnerabilities. The Epictetus encourages us to put our energy and consideration in those parts of life that fall inside our circle of control. These incorporate our considerations, activities, aims, and reactions. We can navigate life with mastery and a sense of purpose if we concentrate on what is truly within our control. The foundation of our tranquility is the recognition that we control our own internal world. On the other hand, outer occasions and conditions that frequently evade our influence are to be recognized as outside the domain of our control. Similarly, as a toxophilite, as exemplified by Epicus, can point cautiously, draw the bowstring with accuracy, and deliver the bolt handily, yet stay questionable of the flight's result. We should figure out how to deliver our connection to results we can't oversee. This delivery isn't a demonstration of renunciation, however a hug of equanimity, notwithstanding life's innate unconventionality. Epictetus's representation of the bowman, who get satisfaction from realizing they've applied their maximum effort no matter what the objective's destiny, fills in as a strong sign of the emotionless way to deal with life. It encourages us to focus on our goals and the hard work we put in, recognizing that the outcomes are largely determined by a variety of external factors. Emotionlessness reminds us to hold on to the reins of our inward world. Embracing the polarity of control is a useful asset to keep a cool-headed demeanor in this present reality, where much remaining parts past our impact. By focusing our energies on what we can shape, we free ourselves from the weight of endeavoring to administer the wild, allowing us to relax knowing we've done our best with the tools we have at our disposal. Illustration number 2. In the fantastic embroidery of emotionless way of thinking, barely any figures stand as tall as the Roman head and rationalist Marcus Aurelius. His significant experiences, frequently etched in the immortal landmark of contemplations, reverberate through the ages and enlighten, quite possibly, of the most impressive illustration in Stoicism. The illustration of acknowledgement. Marcus Aurelius guides us through a significant investigation of the human condition, recognizing the certainty of both victory and hardship. Life, as he notices, is an orchestra of promising and less promising times, a consistent stream inside this steadily moving scene. There exist conditions past our impact that we have zero control over. In his role as a Stoic sage, Marcus Aurelius extols the virtue of embracing the reality of life's unpredictability and impermanence. By accepting these immutable truths, it is to deliver the chains of connection to explicit results and to stroll as one with the persistent mood of the universe. In Marcus Aurelius's words, protection from the normal flow of occasions drives just to strife and misery, similar to a boat battling against the constant current. The unemotional viewpoint on acknowledgement is similar to heading out on the ocean of presence without a decent objective yet, with an enduring confidence in the actual journey. It is an encouragement to give up the longing for unflinching control, and on second thought stream with the ever-changing stream of life to hit the dance floor with the music of the universe, whether its notes are peaceful or stormy. The foundation of inner peace and tranquility is temperance in the Stoic tradition. It urges us to open our arms to life's eccentricity, to appreciate the pleasantness of accomplishment, and to endure the hardships of misfortune with beauty. Marcus Aurelius's illumination of the power of acceptance is a beacon that leads us through the maze of existence and enables us to greet each moment and circumstance with calmness. It is the tranquility of embracing life in the entirety of its unconventionality and finding significant peacefulness amidst its steadily moving scene. The third lesson, practice care. Seneca, the respected unemotional scholar whose shrewdness has risen above the ages, enlightens a pivotal illustration for those looking for quiet and poise amidst life's whirlwinds. The act of care in the Emotionless Dictionary is a compass directing us to the shores of the current second, offering safe haven from the constant choppiness of disappointments and future vulnerabilities in its substance. Care is the specialty of possessing the now and drenching oneself right now with significant mindfulness. It is the cure to the hardship of rumination, the perpetual agitating of the brain. Past distresses and future tensions, Seneca's unemotional lessons entice us to give proper respect to the magnificence and significance of the present, perceiving that the main time holds certifiable. Presence. The act of care, as illustrated by Seneca, isn't bound to the exceptional snapshots of life, however, stretches out its hug to the conventional and ordinary. It urges us to observe life's embroidery with a sharp eye, from the momentous to the apparently unimportant. In doing so, we segregate ourselves from the torturing grasps of disappointment and the deadening hold of stress. This emotionless care, a valuable device for safeguarding inward quiet and clearness, goes about as a scaffold to the valuable presently, associating us to the significant straightforwardness of the current. A workmanship awards us the capacity to completely draw in with our flow conditions, to enjoy every breath, and to savor the magnificence that unfurls in each heartbeat. In the act of care, we find an immortal safe haven where the brain finds comfort, where inward peacefulness is supported and self-control is developed in the midst of the twirling tides of presence. Example number 4, develop strength in the immense scene of emotionless insight. The examples of versatility, reverberation as a resonating hymn, and it is Epicus, the unemotional thinker second to none, who raises his voice to show us the significant craft of facing difficulty with enduring courage. To Epicus, difficulty isn't an enemy to be dreaded, yet an etch that shapes the work of art of our personality. The fundamental truth that challenges are the warp and weft of existence is conveyed by Stoicism, which has its roots deep within the natural order of life. Adversity is not viewed as a barrier or cause of suffering by Stoics, who live this wisdom, but rather as a chance to temper and refine their inner metal. Epicus entices us not to wither before the tempests of life, but rather to stand undaunted, like the resolute oak unshaken by the whirlwind. The profound realization that our judgments, responses, and choices in the face of adversity possess the power to distress us rather than the events themselves is the essence of this Stoic perspective. It is the focal point through which we view life's preliminaries that shapes our inward flexibility. To cultivate Stoic resilience is to walk the path of personal development, and to view adversity as a teacher rather than a challenge. Emotionlessness instructs us that in the cauldron of difficulty we find the genuine degree of our solidarity. And it is through confronting life's hardships with fortitude and unfaltering versatility that we arise like tempered steel, with a person strengthened by the preliminaries we have endured. The apathetic point of view on misfortune orchestrates flawlessly with the unemotional confidence in the power of decision. The Epictetus in his Siacity urges us to stand up to difficulties, not with fear, but rather with the boldness of a fighter. For it is through our reactions to outer occasions that we protect the sacredness of our internal quiet and level-headedness. Stoics are able to navigate life's turbulent waters with unwavering resolve, even in the face of the most violent storms, thanks to the gift of resilience. Illustration number 5. Pick your reaction. Epictetus, the respected unemotional savvy, whose shrewdness has navigated the chronicles of time, hands down to us a significant example of limitless worth. The force of decision in our reactions inside the unemotional way of thinking this illustration remains as an unyielding support point, a beacon directing us through the wild oceans of presence. Epictetus, with faithful conviction, confers reality that while the tides of outer occasions might stay past our territory, the rudder of our reactions is immovably inside our grip. In the Stoic sanctum, where calm and composure reign supreme and the locus of control is resolutely internal Stoicism, he declares that this is the essence of Stoic wisdom. A way of thinking grounded in significant discipline lauds the power of our reactions to life's diverse difficulties. It is in this consecrated space that the unemotional ethics of shrewdness, mental fortitude, equity, and restraint act as directing stars. In particular, in the crucible of adversity, Epictetus's sage counsel illuminates the path to maintaining inner tranquility and invites us to consider the nature of our judgments and responses. It is through this thoughtfulness that we stir to the significant truth that we have the consecrated endowment of decision, the capacity to deliberately create our reactions to the outer situation that develop in our lives. A masterful stroke on the canvas of existence is the Stoic response to life's tribulations. It is the decision to adjust our reactions to the unemotional excellencies to defy life's changes is similar to a triumph on the material of presence. It is the decision to adjust our reactions to the apathetic excellencies to face life's adversities with the insight of sages, the fortitude of legends, the equity of honest hearts, and the restraint of the individuals who track the way of inward dominance. The indifferent stockpile loaded with the insight of Epictetus is a stronghold of internal harmony impenetrable even to the fiercest tempests. Through cognizant decision and arrangement with unemotional excellencies, we manufacture a safeguard that saves our serenity despite difficulty. It is the apathetic lucidity call to explore the confounded halls of existence with elegance and flexibility, for in the pod of cognizant decision we find the pod of persevering through internal harmony. Illustration number 6. Limit unnecessary longings in the celebrated embroidery of emotionless insight, woven with strings of reason and ideals. Seneca's chamber on the unemotional guideline of control remains as a magnum opus in itself. A sage known for his significant philosophical expositions on goodness and self-improvement, Seneca reaches out to us an illustration of vital significance, an example that coaxes us to control the blustery longings that frequently take steps to immerse our inward quiet. At the core of emotionlessness lies the conviction that unnecessary longings, like fierce oceans, have the ability to project our lives afloat, leaving us in a never-ending condition of unrest and discontent. The unemotional sages, in their steadfast quest for inward calmly, perceive the dangers of unrestrained yearning for abundant status and material belongings a long ways past what is essential for an existence of ideals and shrewdness. Seneca, repeating the emotionless opinion, grants his insight established in the conviction that legitimate satisfaction tracks down its home in the safe haven of restricted wants. It is a lesson that teaches us to use moderation as our rudder to steer ourselves toward inner Ace's tranquil harbor as we navigate the maze of existence. The emotionless way, as enlightened by Seneca's insight, entices us to improve on our longings, looking for just that which is imperative for a day-to-day existence set apart by goodness and ideals. In this rearrangement, we uncover the valuable jewels of satisfaction, and serenely, free of the impulsive breezes of outer fortune, the indifferent act of restricting exorbitant longings turns into the heap star, guaranteeing the upkeep of a cool as a cucumber position. It is inside the walls of this old insight that we find the significant truth that the intense quest for outside treasures is, nevertheless, a momentary illusion, and the genuine fortunes exist in. Ready to be uncovered, Seneca's lessons stand as a persevering through demonstration of the emotionless obligation to inward dominance, and the balance of wants fashioning a way that prompts the holy safe haven of inward quiet. Example number 7. Be ethical. the embodiment of emotionlessness as supported and valued by the extraordinary unemotional scholars like Epicus Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, dwells in the unflinching obligation to prudence, a responsibility that lies at the actual heart of this old way of thinking. The unemotional ethics, containing shrewdness, boldness, equity, and balance, become the compass directing us towards a day-to-day existence set apart by internal self-restraint and calmly in the rich embroidery of emotionless insight. The excellencies possess a blessed spot. They are the ethical burden stars that allure us to explore life's violent oceans with effortlessness and intelligence. These ethics, scratched into the archives of unemotional idea, are not simple reflections. They are the points of support whereupon the emotionless ideal of residing together as one with the normal request of the universe rests. The first of these virtues is a source of illumination. Enlightening the way of reason and wisdom, it calls upon us to develop a profound comprehension of the world and our place inside it. The apathetic sages, for example Epicus, comprehended that insight is the establishment whereupon any remaining temperances are assembled. With intelligence as our directing star, we gain the ability to see the world as it really is, and to observe between the transient and the persevering. Mental fortitude, the subsequent goodness, remains as the sentinel watching the stronghold of our ethical person. It calls upon us to confront life's difficulties with faithfulness and resolve. In the Emotionless Dictionary, mental fortitude isn't the shortfall of dread, however, the victory over it. It is the unflinching assurance to go up against misfortune with internal guts. Saka, through his lessons, praises the significance of fortitude in manufacturing a person set apart by flexibility and resolute purpose. Equity, the third goodness, broadens its mantle of exemplary nature over the unemotional way. Beck reminds us to live as per the standards of decency and moral rightness. The unemotional thinkers, drawing motivation from the wellsprings of equity, guide us towards pursuing choices that are established in value and trustworthiness. The quest for equity guarantees that our activities line up with the ethical request of the universe, encouraging inward peacefully and poise. Balance, the last ethicalness, fills in as the watchman of control and patience. It reminds us to practice command over our cravings, for it is through balance that we find the doorway to genuine happiness. Sina, in his philosophical papers, underlines the significance of working on our longings and looking for just that which is fundamental for a temperate life. In the restraint of our cravings, we reveal the wellspring of inward quiet, regardless of outside conditions. A life that exemplifies the Stoic ideal is formed by these virtues, championed by various Stoic philosophers. They act as the heap star, directing us through life's tempestuous oceans with elegance, intelligence, and unshakable inward harmony. By sticking to these excellencies and permitting them to penetrate our considerations and activities, we keep a completely relaxed demeanor, mirroring the unemotional obligation to inward congruity and moral living in the mosaic of emotionlessness. The ideals are the energetic varieties that make the picture out of a daily existence lived as one with the everlasting reality of the osmos. Illustration number 8. Learn about the fleeting nature of life through his profound and timeless meditations. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman sovereign and indifferent scholar, dives into the embodiment of life, a day-to-day existence pervaded with drifters. His lessons are a demonstration of the insight that tolerating the consistently changing nature of presence is a foundation for keeping a cool-headed disposition from the perspective of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius bestows an example that is maybe one of the most essential for accomplishing internal serenity. He welcomes us to leave on a philosophical excursion that includes recognizing the fleeting and transient parts of life. The emotionless acknowledgement of this reality, frequently alluded to as the fleeting idea of life, isn't a harbinger of despondency, rather. It fills in as a foundation of solidarity that can loan significance to our reality. The center of this illustration is the grasping that nothing in the domain of human experience, be it the snapshots of delight or the preliminaries of misfortune, is unchanging. The universe, in its everlasting rhythmic movement, winds around an embroidery of consistent change. The emotionless sage doesn't avoid this enormous dance, yet decides to waltz as one with it with elegance and shrewdness. Marcus Aurelius urges us to unburden ourselves from the heaviness of connections to those passing minutes that gleam like stars across the night sky, and to the material belongings that hold our consideration. Yet in a concise recess, he trains us to see the value in these minutes and assets really our lives, yet additionally to let them go when the ideal opportunity for takeoff shows up. In doing as such, we uncover an inward safe haven of quiet and self-restraint impenetrable to outside storms. Tolerating the temporariness, everything being equal, as supported by Marcus Aurelius, goes about as an ointment for the spirit. It permits us to place into viewpoint the changes of life. It frees us from the servitude of nervousness that stems from grasping onto what or could have been. Through this apathetic instructing, we become the planners of our internal determination, making a person set apart by versatility even with life's unavoidable changes. In understanding the fleeting idea of life, we prepare for a significant feeling of inward serenely. We perceive that our ability for quiet and self-restraint rises above the ascent and fall of outside conditions, similar to the stars, which shimmer in the night sky regardless of the fleeting clouds that pass before them. It is an enduring presence. Marcus Aurelius, through his emotionless insight, welcomes us to luxuriate in the illumination of this comprehension, offering us the potential chance to enjoy valuable experiences while holding a steady feeling of inward ease. Example number 9. The worth of appreciation lies in the significant embroidered artwork of unemotional way of thinking, woven with strings of astuteness and versatility. There is a pearl that shines with significant understanding, the worth of appreciation. This example, supported by Seneca, one of apathy's famous savants, enlightens the way to inward quiet and satisfaction independent of life's difficulties. It guides us to celebrate not exclusively life's victories, yet additionally its afflictions. For it is from the perspective of appreciation that we find quietness even despite difficulty. Seneca, in his papers committed to the idea of appreciation, amazingly lauded its excellencies. He coaxed us to divert our look from what we might need to what we need to track down comfort right now, and to embrace the fortunes that frequently slip by everyone's notice in this unemotional practice. The center of Seneca's lessons on appreciation is a delicate update that the demonstration of being grateful isn't dependent upon the overflow of our assets, yet rather on our capacity to see life's gifts in their bunch structures. In this sense, appreciation is certainly not a simple reaction to life's simple minutes, yet a significant affirmation that even in the midst of the storm's rage, there is a haven of quiet to be found. We can rebalance our relationship with life and learn to see the beauty in the ordinary, the lesson difficulty, and the preciousness of every fleeting moment by cultivating gratitude. Seneca urges us to be satisfied with the present, perceiving that the fortunes of life are not products to be obtained, yet encounters to be valued. The worth of appreciation, as enlightened by Seneca, goes about as a gatekeeper of our internal harmony. It trains us to endlessly ponder the favors that have graced our excursion. In doing as such, we find that appreciation is a remedy that changes the base components of despondency and yearning into the gold of happiness and peacefulness. In snapshots of challenge, a heart saturated with appreciation doesn't waver. It finds strength even amidst affliction, for it perceives that the preliminaries of life also are educators. As Seneca would remind us, the unemotional soul doesn't falter in that frame of mind of difficulty. All things being equal, it prospers, drawing sustenance from appreciation's profound well in the emotionless practice. The worth of appreciation is an unflinching friend that ushers us towards a significant feeling of serenely. It lifts us over life's blustery waves, uncovering the tranquility that lies in embracing the endowments, regardless of how little or apparently irrelevant. With Seneca's insight, we come to understand that rehearsing appreciation is definitely not a simple reaction to life's delights, yet a relentless hug of the magnificence tracked down in life's most difficult minutes. With each breath, each heartbeat, and each transient second, we are given chances to uncover the fortunes of appreciation. The Stoic legacy left by Seneca inspires us to appreciate the beauty around us and to cherish the present, not in spite of, but rather as a result of life's challenges. It is in this glowing practice that we find a significant feeling of peacefully and quiet, even in the midst of the whirlwinds of presence. Example number 10. Continue learning and filling in the significant embroidered artwork of aloofness, where shrewdness is woven with strings of flexibility and moderation. We find a brilliant example that coaxes us to set out on a long-lasting excursion of personal growth. Legendary Titus, one of emotionlessness illuminators, remains as an unfaltering aid in this pursuit, uncovering that the way to inward quiet and self-control is cleared with the stones of self-awareness. In philosophy, the Stoic commitment to self-improvement is a common theme that resonates across various Stoic philosophers. Particularly, Epictetus carries this lesson with unwavering conviction. He welcomes us to step away of never-ending development, underscoring that this responsibility is a fortune. The stash of shrewdness that prepares us to explore life's difficulties with beauty and cleverness at the core of this unemotional convention lies in a significant acknowledgement that life is a persistent journey. We are not static creatures, but rather vessels of potential everlastingly equipped for advancement. The obligation to deep-rooted learning and development is a steady source of inspiration. An update that regardless of where we stand, there are still skylines to investigate and temperances to develop in the emotionless quest for personal growth. Adjusts agreeably with the journey for shrewdness and serenely. It is an affirmation that internal quiet and self-restraint are not static ascribes, but rather unique cycles advanced by the unending mission for understanding. Epictetus urges us to take a stab at shrewdness as we would for a valuable diamond, realizing that the compass guides us through the maze of presence and the indifferent excursion of personal development. It tracks down its heartbeat in the metropolitan progression of life's encounters. We are not called flawlessly, however, to advance, not stagnation, but rather consistent development. This indifferent example reverberations through the halls of shrewdness, murmuring that there is no last objective except for a perpetual odyssey of improving as a rendition of ourselves. In embracing this illustration, we figure out how to explore life's difficulties with flexibility and mettle. The apathetic soul finds strength not in that frame of mind of affliction, but rather in the journey for development, which difficulty frequently catalyzes. We find that misfortunes are not road obstructions, but rather venturing stones, and each preliminary is an instructor. A beacon of hope in the midst of the storm and a source of tranquility in the face of life's difficulties is a commitment to ongoing learning and development. It demonstrates the Stoic tenet that we are in charge of our inner world, regardless of external circumstances. The more we learn, the more we develop, and the more we develop, the better we become at enduring the hardships of presence. In the reverberations of Epictetus's lessons, we track down an encouragement to praise the excursion of personal growth, to delight during the time spent learning, and to respect the undertaking of oath. An example guarantees us that with each step followed on this way, we draw nearer to the core of emotionlessness, a daily existence set apart by internal quiet level-headedness, and the quest for shrewdness in a world loaded up with interruptions and vulnerabilities. Emotionlessness offers an immortal and functional manual for staying cool-headed. By embracing these 10 examples from emotionlessness, roused by the insight of various unemotional savants, and typifying the goodness of restraint, you can explore life's difficulties with beauty, intelligence, and inward harmony. Restraint turns into your anchor, directing you through the tempests of presence and assisting you with resisting the urge to panic despite difficulty as you by embracing these unemotional examples. You will find a significant feeling of calmly and equanimity that empowers you to flourish, no matter what life's difficulties. The timeless wisdom of Stoicism serves as a reminder to us that cultivating inner peace and composure through the application of these useful lessons is more important than relying on external circumstances. Thank you so much for watching Stoic Energy.